It is me, it's you, it's live, it's us. It's been another week, hasn't it? And it is time once again to make sense of the senseless with yours truly, and for me to wrap my darkness around your light once more. What has been going on, people? What's been inspiring and transpiring? You, my lovelies, in the live chat. Who have we got in there this evening? We've got Steve Martin. We've got Yuri. We've got Hiddenite. Hazel Hunt, Sarah Davies, Diz is in the chat. Mojo Sabian. Good Trouble Daily is a new one. I've not seen that name before. What's up to Brian White? Have I missed anyone? Alex French is in the house. Gail has joined us this evening. I hope you guys are doing all well. All well? All right? You know what I mean. We could get the chat up, couldn't we? There we go. We got the chat showing on the screen now. But yeah, what's been happening for you all? Has it been a good week for you guys? Has it? How have you been keeping? Any dramas that you would like to share with the group? This is a place of trust. You can share your stories with us, with the group. Pass the cushion around when it's your turn to speak. What's been taking place for you here in the formerly Great Britain, guys? It's been another barrel scraping week of hellish lows, has it not? We've had Keir Starmer's shift to the right. What with his Island of Strangers speech that he gave on Tuesday morning, I think it was. And then, there's been a load of anti-immigration stuff that's come out of Downing Street this week. Vet Cooper, Keir Starmer, bunch of them. And then just yesterday, it's come out, it's been reported that he invited only GB News out on his European tour thing with him. Only GB News, guys, for that European tour in which he unsuccessfully attempted to explore another Rwanda-style deal, except this time it would be with Albania. I don't know if you saw that. He was going to try and get a sort of Rwanda-style deal, but with Albania instead. Because he can't do Rwanda, can he? That's the thing. He can't do Rwanda because Rwanda was a gimmick, wasn't it? Rwanda was inefficient. Wouldn't work. It's not practical. That's what he said. Rwanda wouldn't deter anyone. It would cost more than it would deliver, was how he campaigned against Rwanda. But Albania presumably is totally different, guys. Because it's just a totally different country. That's it. So they got a different flag and everything. So you see, it's totally different. Anyway, Keir Starmer came away empty-handed. Albania told him to piss off. Which, nobody's really talking about this. But I think it's worth highlighting that the reason that Albania agreed to do the setup that they have done with Italy, because it's exactly the sort of deal that you would think our government would be up for, right? So Italy give refugees to Albania when they're rescued at sea, if they travel across in boats. Geographically, it's that sort of relationship. So Albania have gone into this agreement with Italy where they take refugees off Italy in exchange for, nobody seems to know or want to talk about it. But the reason that Albania have that agreement with Italy is because Italy have agreed to support Albania in their aspiration to join the European Union. So it's a bit like, again, if we hadn't have left the EU, guys, maybe we could have had that leverage too, right? I mean, if you were going for that sort of deal, I don't want to go into that deal. I'm just saying that if you wanted to convince Albania to take your refugees off you, it probably wouldn't have hurt if you were still part of the EU that has actually weirdly kind of put us into this. It's like a sort of self-fulfilling paradox or some shit. You know? If we were still in the EU, then Albania would have been like, well, you know, we better keep Britain happy. They're one of the core members. They've got a seat at the head table of the European Union. We better keep them happy, or it might fuck up the application to join the club. Anyway, elsewhere in Newsland, and indeed across the newsstands, what else has been going on this week? What are the other big news stories that have been spaffed across the walls of the journo-political landscape, guys? What else is going on? We had Diddy's trial starting in New York. Diddy's on trial. Chris Brown, a very famous R&B singer, Chris Brown, has been charged with GBH. Guys, that's here. That's in the UK. And Gerard Depardeiu was found guilty of sexual assault this week. So, bad week to be a bellend? I don't know. Like, it's just a lot of rich, powerful men getting in trouble with the law. Like, do you ever look at these rich and powerful men and the trouble they get into? And you read then the coverage, you read the stories and the way that they are reported against. And it'll be stuff like, it'll say, Chris Brown's tragic fall from grace. Right, if it's the story about Chris Brown. Or if it's a story about Puff Daddy or Diddy, whatever. They'll say, you know, how Diddy fell from grace. He had it all. How he fell from grace, right? It's similar sort of way it's reported. Depardeiu's career in tatters after a guilty verdict. It's the same kind of way that they report this all the time. Is their career was destroyed by this, whatever the situation is. And I look at these guys. I look at, you know, Diddy, Gerard Depardeiu. I look at these stories and I'm like, I mean, it's not really a fool anymore, is it? Is it really a fool? Does anybody think that they're falling too far? Are their careers in tatters because of this thing? Like, they were already kind of down there, weren't they? You know? You're already kind of in tatters. Like, I don't want to spend a long time tonight talking about Diddy because we already covered some of that stuff earlier in the week. But it's not like he had a #1 album, you know, in the last few years, is it? Like, in the small amount of preparation that I do for these shows, I checked his discography before the last episode, and his last album, his last released hip-hop album was fucking like 2010, man. 15 years ago. And yet music journalists all over the world at the moment are like, he was an internationally known rapper whose career is now in tatters. I'm like, it's not a career fall, really, is it? It's more like it's more like less of a fool and more of a like, you know, when you go on an escalator and, you know, you might be like reading a copy of the Metro or staring at your phone or something, you can't, you know, you kind of snapped out of reality for a second and you're coming down to the bottom of the escalator and then you go to take a step down the escalator, but it's already down, it's already flat, so you sort of stumble a little bit. Like, that's where he is. He was already at the bottom of the escalator. Already there. Like, this thing is just him, you know, stumbling around at the bottom of the escalator. Same with Chris Brown, man. Same with Chris Brown. Like, did Chris Brown have far to fall? Really? Did he? How far had Chris Brown already fallen? Chris Brown of woman-beating domestic violence fame. The guy who ends up with fucking SWAT getting called to his house because of the sort of trouble he gets himself into. And now, oh my lord, now guys, now he's really in trouble. Now that he's been questioned by the Met. Oh lord! His career's in tatters now. He's thrown it all away. You know? That one was too far, Chris. That's what happened. It was the getting in trouble with the Met that just pushed people over the edge. Now he's really in trouble. I mean, a joke, but maybe he is in trouble. You know, he's a foreigner, right? He's a foreigner with darker than Caucasian skin, and he's crossed into British borders. He's ended up detained by police. I mean, you better keep your nose clean, Chris, before they fly you off to Albania, son. Speaking of detaining people, prisons are falling to pieces. I don't know if you saw that one this week. It's a topic that we keep coming back to on this show. The underfunding, the lack of maintenance of prisons. But also in terms of like the safety and the lack of CCTV and security and all of that stuff. And there's been 5 separate prison attacks on prison officers in the last month. It was revealed this week. 5 separate attacks on prison officers in the last month. So we got that in the story of British decline, I guess. Credit card defaults are soaring. A school got shut down because the building was too dangerous to educate the children in. But it's not all bad. It's not all bad news, guys. It doesn't have to all be bad. I know it's called A. Thompson and Other Disappointments, but it doesn't have to be all negative and depressing. Aid, Mr. Buzzkill. It's not all bad news because, guys, this will cheer you up. This is good news. This is a happy story. Billionaire Donald Trump got given a golden plane. So yeah, it's kind of inspiring, isn't it? It's it's good. It's good to know that not everyone is having a bad time. It doesn't always have to be bad, does it? You know, it's a sort of silver lining to all of the bad weather and stormy weather. It's cloudy silver lining. It goes together quite well, actually, doesn't it? Like a golden plane amidst grey clouds, but with silver light. Like, I'm getting an image in my brain. Kind of works. So yeah, I think that's inspiring. You know, a lot of people are mocking it for its obvious corruption. I think it's inspiring. Guys, that Donald Trump has received a golden $400 million jet from Qatar. Why is it inspiring, Aid? Because I think, like, if Donald Trump, what with his billions of dollars in crypto and donations and Elon Musk money and his real estate portfolio, and if his tide can come in again, if luck itself could be so giving, if fortune can be so giving that a pre-existing billionaire, apparently, allegedly, could just luckily land a golden plane as well? Like 2 buses coming along at once, isn't it? I mean, what are the chances of that? What are the chances that somebody who already has lots of money, then again, their ship comes in And they just get a free plane with no strings attached. You know? It's like your richest, most detached and affluent friend in your group, in your circle of friends. It's like that guy fucks around and wins the lottery. It's a bit like that, isn't it? Like, that is really fucking lucky of you. You won it, did you? Yes. Yeah. I don't even really play the lottery. I just picked up a scratch card and scratched it off. I won £5 million. It's incredible, isn't it? It's very, very lucky. Yeah, God, that's really... Oh, I'm so happy for you. It's a bit like that, isn't it? But if he could get lucky, all of those times, Donald Trump, then, you know, your time will come any day now. It has to. Is how you have to look at it. Be inspired, guys. What else has happened this week? What else has been going on? Keir Starmer. Let's talk about Keir Starmer, shall we? Our Prime Minister, Keir Starmer. His North London house got firebombed by somebody. I was reading. And the coverage that I saw was like a day or something after. And it said, Starmer condemns fires as an attack on democracy. That was the headline. Starmer condemns fires as an attack on democracy, which I suppose they are, aren't they? I mean, I would have gone with milkshakes, but, you know, whatever. Starmer condemns fires as an attack on democracy. I mean, it's either an attack on democracy or it could just be the engineer from Heathrow who got fired and then Starmer's hired him as the fucking groundsman or something. Like, that would make sense, wouldn't it? That would make sense if it was the same fucking guy. It's just this is where he works now. You know? Sees his latest round of handiwork in Islington. Fucking sparks a massive house fire and he's like, oh, I didn't think I'm beginning to think I'm not really cut out for this. Like, I don't know why the Scottish accent was necessary. But yeah, his house was firebombed or Molotoved or something. Must have been very scary. I hope everybody was all right. But what do you think is going to happen with that? What do you think will happen first with that whole thing? Like, after the fire, after they've put it out, after it's been declared safe, after everybody's been accounted for, after the firemen have gone into the property and looked for and established what started it, like, what do you think will happen first? Do you think they're going to find the people that were responsible for it, and they arrest, they question, they charge, and then they jail them? Or do you think they'll do the same as all of that, but for the people who were responsible for Grenfell? Like, which could it be? I don't know which one's going to get there first. It's a tough one. It's tough to get justice, Keir. It could take a while. The wheels of justice turn slowly. And all that, you know, you just don't want to rush these things. I mean, I think it would be better for all concerned if we just leave the cindered house up there, just covered in fucking soot. Just leave it there standing as a community monument for a decade or so. Like, how about that shit? Have him kicked out of power in 2029 and he heads back to his regular Islington domestic property. And he's like, oh, for God's sake, like, it's still unlivable. I can't live in that. It's bloody unlivable. I'll be like, yeah, unfortunately, we are still no closer to finding or convicting the culprits. So, Keir, I'm terribly sorry. He'd be like, well, can we at least like tear it down and then rebuild it? I'll be like, no. It's actually very important that we just keep it there standing, empty, still smoking and stinking out the street for years. It has to stay there. That's the deal. For some reason, that's the deal. Well, I mean, you know, with Grenfell, it was different, Nate. It was different. It was a moment. It was an event. And for years, we looked at that. We looked at that cindered building, and we were reminded, Nate, of an out-of-touch elite. It was an attack on the people. I tell you what it was. It was a murderous form of classism. I'll be like, yeah, but so was this in a way, Keir. So was this, probably. I'd love that, by the way. Truly, I would. If his house turned out almost exactly like Grenfell. You know, and have him out in the street begging for justice. But instead of him getting it, or any sense of absolution or justice or anything, like, instead of that, we just tear his fucking house down. That's where this needs to head, I think. That's where we need to get to. You know, like, I think we're all ready to move on now, Keir. I think we're ready to tear. It's been a while now, right? Like, it's been a while. And it's really, really prime real estate, this. I think you can agree on that. That happened on Sunday night, by the way. The firebomb attack on his house, or on democracy, as he styles it. And I'm not making light of that, you know, the thing. I'm not saying, you know, it's a good thing that somebody did that. Obviously, it must have been terrifying. It's criminal damage. We would never condone such a thing. Honestly, stick to milkshakes. But yeah, he described it as an attack on democracy. The firebombing, whatever the fuck it was. But when I heard about it, and then I read the coverage on the news, I was a bit like, I was like, well, wow. I mean, that is actually quite, I mean, you know, the political climate right now. Now, obviously, like, I mean, that is really, really what that is incredibly poorly scheduled is what that is, because like if they'd done it 48 hours later, they'd have had all of the public's backing, wouldn't they? Because like 48 hours later, he was giving his speech. He's doing like Strangers on Your Own Island. If they'd done it 48 hours later, oh, would that be bang on time? Like just imagine you were the protest group or terror group, I suppose it is, who coordinated it. You know, and you're all planning and plotting and talking amongst each other in your squats or your flat or whatever. You're like, yeah, we're going to go and throw a Molotov at his house, fucking massive-headed prick. I'm going to throw a Molotov at his house. I've got it all set up. Going to head out the door in a minute. You get all of your ducks in a row. You're planning it. You're plotting it. You've worked out your tube times. You got your hoodie up, your cap on, you know where the CCTV is, so you can get away with it, hopefully. You leave your phone at home. You got to think these things through. If you're going to do something wrong, do it right. So you plan it, you plot it, get all your ducks in a row. And you kind of want to make a point, right? You don't do something like that lightly. You're doing it for terrorism reasons, aren't you? You're doing it to make a point. You're doing it to make the general public read about it and go, whoa, okay. I mean, that these guys mean business, don't they? And yeah, do you know what? Now that I read about it, now that I've learned a little bit more about whatever this cause might be, I never really thought about it like that before. But yeah, maybe these guys have a point about Sir Keir Starmer. Like, that's the aim, isn't it? Is to shine a light on your cause, to apply pressure through the medium of terror. That is the idea, the goal, to get media attention on whatever your cause is. But then you sneak out. You run out on a Sunday night. And it kind of comes and goes, like with the chaos of everything else in the news cycle that day. Like your entire fucking terrorism campaign gets swept away in news stories about fucking Chris Brown and Gerard Depardeiu or something. You're like, fuck, man. Shit. How long have we been planning this for? And it's just gone in 24 hours. Disappeared. Back on like page 17 or something. You're like, fuck, like what do we need to do to get press for this? To get this read about? Get people G'd up about it? What do we need to do? Like, do we need some sort of slow burn marketing campaign to build up momentum to it? Do we need to hire out some billboards and flyer? Like, what the fuck? How has this disappeared in 24 hours from the news? In the news cycle, a Molotov on the Prime Minister's house. And it's not even a thing. So yeah, then it just comes and goes. And then on Tuesday, Starmer rebrands himself as Enoch fucking Powell. And everybody hates him. Everyone. Like, wouldn't you be like, oh, shit. Fuck. You know, like, we could have fucking coattailed that thing. People would have been like, oh, yeah, I hate him too. I've just heard that somebody firebombed Keir Starmer's head. Well, you know what? He did say a horrible thing in his speech. He was getting a bit Enoch-y. It's a shame that we missed it. Dave, your timing is terrible, you might say. To your friend, Dave the terrorist. You know, I thought you said that this would get our cause talked about. I thought you said this was going to spark momentum behind our cause. And poor Dave would just be like, I know, but I just didn't anticipate that, you know, so many people would care about Gerard Depardeiu, or, you know, that he'd make himself so voluntarily unpopular like the next fucking day with his speech. It's just so unlucky. The timing is just so unlucky. And you'd be like, well, yeah, nice one. Great one. David would be like, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And you'd be like, yeah, you're always sorry, aren't you, Dave? That's the problem. Do you know what? You are a shit terrorist. That's what you are. Do you know that? Dave's like, I know. I said I'm sorry. Jesus. And you'd be like, I mean, you know, say what you like about Mohammed Atta. He didn't get everything right. But he knew what time his plane was boarding, didn't he? All right. That's enough. Honestly, Dave, I thought that we would be in prison in Albania by now. But you have really fucked this up. You're a shit terrorist, Dave. I'm just going to go and see if I can get my job back at Argos. See you later. Oh, fucking hell. We got a super chat from Yuri. Starmer snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. Says Yuri. Yes. Completely hemorrhaging support from folks like you and me at the moment. I don't need to bore you guys with my prediction from earlier in the week, do I? The 12th of May, I said all of this immigration stuff is going to lose him support rather than gain it. I'm desperately, keenly observing the YouGov and Britain Elect's Twitter accounts. So thirsty is my appetite to see what the impact of all this shit is. Like, every day I'm like, is it up? Have they put the new Westminster voting intention stuff? Oh, fuck's sake. You know, gimme. Absolutely punch drunk on Schadenfreude with that poll. So I am. Anyway, tonight, something a little bit different, people. Normally, we, on these Friday night live shows, what do? Right, so we welcome ourselves into the show at 7:30. I do a bit of a rant, bit of a roast about whatever is in the news. That takes us up to about 8, 8:05. And then I usually do like a sort of weird news story, don't I? something strange from the Americas, whether that's a redneck from Florida who's done something stupid with a gun or sold his brother to I don't know. It's just strange news stories from stateside, normally. But tonight I thought something a little bit different, guys, because we all know that Starmer has moved to the right, don't we? We all know that that has attracted some criticism, and not just from the left, it has to be said, but also from what we used to refer to as the alt-right, the new right, the MAGA right. Because as Keir Starmer moved to the right this week, socially and culturally, Russell Brand non-ironically posted this the other day. I'm going to read it out to you. This is what Russell Brand said about Keir Starmer. Keir Starmer's speech, remember, said about controlling our borders. We've got to end the experiment of uncontrolled borders. He said people could end up living on an island of strangers. Loads of and take back control, which he obviously lifted from the Vote Leave campaign. So Russell Brand sees this, and he says, Keir Starmer's immigration plan isn't leadership, it's mimicry. Take back control? He mocked that during Brexit, and now he parrots to cling to power, right? He says, this isn't change, it's cynical rebranding from a politician who will say anything to stay liked. A cynical rebranding. A cynical rebranding from Russell Brand, the god-washing cross-goblin himself. Fucking alleged accused rapist who pretends to be a Christian because it gleans him more support from the conspiracy theory right. He has the gall to call out somebody else for their cynical rebrand. Fuck me gently. Yes, Russell. Yes, it is ridiculous, isn't it? But in terms of a superficial rebranding, people pretending to be something that they're not to save their own skin, you're like the fucking gold tier, Russell. You're the GOAT. Truly. Anyway, so Starmer has moved to the political right. Cheers, by the way. And so the nature of what is the left-leaning world of politics and what is the centre or right-wing in our politics has changed. So what I thought, this is sometimes referred to as the Overton window, right? So I thought what might be fun tonight is if you guys in the live chat, if we play a little game. And it's called the Overton Assault Course.
It's the Overton Assault Course, yeah, yeah. It's the Overton Assault Course, yeah, yeah. It's the Overton Assault Course, yeah, yeah. It's the Overton...
Do you like that? The Overton Assault Course. Guys, so here's how it works. Are you excited? Who's with me? Who is excited about this game? Here's how it works, right? Imagine you are an army soldier trainee or cadet or whatever. And you're on your assault course and I'm laying out the tyres in front of you. So one over here, one over there, one over here, one over there, to the left, to the right. And you got to leap left into one of them, leap right into the next one. They're red and blue, they're red and blue alternately, right? And the way that you're going to say whether it's left or right is you're going to try, people in the chat, people of the booch, you're going to try to guess who said it, judging by how lefty or right-wing it sounds. So is it a left-leaning person? Does it sound like it might be a lefty? Or is it a right-wing person? Does it sound like somebody who's a bit more conservative? I don't know. How are we going to find out? Let's play. Let's do this dance. So I'm going to give you a quote, people in the live chats. I'm going to give you the quote, and you guys have to consider if it is a left-wing person or a right-wing person, and then you've got to consider who you think might have said it in this weird, politically amorphous time on the Overton assault course. Okay. Are we ready? People in the chat. Let's get the chat up on the screen. Super Tansky's jumped on. What's up, Super Tan? Right, here we go on our Overton assault course. Here comes quote number 1. Will it sound left? Will it sound right? Who said the following? The British people should never be hostile to immigrants. We should welcome people who have come here and made a contribution to our country. Who do we think said that? Does that sound left or right to you guys in the live chat here on a Friday night for the Friday Night Live show? Who do we think said that? The British people should never be hostile to immigrants. We should welcome people who come here and who make a contribution to our country. Like, it sounds a bit Lib Dem, doesn't it? Sounds a bit just sort of, shy left of centre. Maybe a left tyre on the Overton assault course. Let's see who's got some suggestions in the live chat. Who do we think said the British people should never be hostile to immigrants? We should welcome people who come here and who make a contribution to our country. Diz is in the chat. What's up, Diz? She says Priti Patel. Jock Git says Johnston, the big biffer. Does that mean Boris Johnson? I don't know. Stop the Greed says Boris Johnson as well. Blue Badger says Rishi. Hiddenite says left, and I think that it's Corbyn. Do we want to know who said it? Are we ready? It's Margaret Thatcher, guys! Margaret fucking Thatcher said that shit. Okay, next one. Who said the following quote? Who uttered these words? The aim is to create, here in Britain, a really hostile environment for illegal immigrants. Who do we think said that? Does that sound left or right to you? If the aim is to create, here in Britain, bloody Great Britain, with our proud tradition of welcoming in refugees, the aim is to create, here in Britain, a really hostile environment for illegal immigrants. Who do we think said that? Guys, Ernie Burns is in the chat. Mojo Sabian is in the chat. Brian White is in the chat. And they're all saying Theresa May. As does Diz. Well done, guys. Congratulations. You got it right. Nice, easy one, that one, I think. Theresa May, you say that name, it's one of the first things you think of. I think, isn't it? You say Theresa May, you think hostile environment and the nasty party. These are the things that she said. Interestingly, after she's left office, she's become a lot more liberal. There should be a word for that sort of pivot. When they pivot back to liberal after they leave number 10, there should be a word, just like Starmer is now pivoting into the hard right now that he's in office. Guarantee you, as soon as he leaves office, he will go back to being a full-on, lily-livered, liberal human rights lawyer. I absolutely guarantee it. Even William Hague, as soon as he left office, he was like, well, we should probably look at legalising cannabis, legalising drugs, like the war on drugs hasn't worked. I'm like, is this the same William Hague? As soon as they leave office, Damascene conversion, no matter which the party was that they were leading. Anyway, Next one. Are we ready for the next quote on our Overton assault course?
It's the Overton assault course, yeah, yeah. It's the Overton assault course, yeah, yeah. It's the Overton assault course, yeah, yeah. It's the Overton.
Okay. Here we go. Next one. Here's the next quote for any newcomers, anyone that's just jumped on. I'm giving you quotes. You have to think, does that sound left or right? Left wing, hard right, whatever. Okay, well, who do I think might have said that based on how left or right it sounds? And obviously we're doing this to poke fun at how much the Overton window has moved. So here is the next one. Last one was Theresa May. One before that was Margaret Thatcher. Here's the next one. You ready? Who said this? We believe in opportunity for all. We do not believe that people are born to rule. Who do we think said that? Do we think we're leaping to the left? Maybe on this one? Or are we leaping to the right? The blue tyre. To the right on this Overton assault course. Are we leaping to the left? To a red tyre or a blue tyre on the right? We believe in opportunity for all. We do not believe that people are born to rule. Who do we think said that? Let's go back to the chat. Let's see some suggestions. David Cameron says Sarah Davies. Ernie Burns says Gordon Brown. Alex French says David Cameron. Gail Goels says Twat Waffle. I don't know who that is. If there's a twat, I mean, I can't say for certain that Twat Waffle didn't say it. Rooted entirely in the fact that I'm not sure who Twat Waffle is. But we can't say with 100% certainty that he or she did not say it. But it wasn't who I was thinking of. Super Tan says Fred West. Reform. Do we think Fred West would vote reform? Probably. Yeah, he was a bit slow, wasn't he? Is it still all right to say that? He wasn't, you know. He what? Like, wasn't he like questioned? Wasn't he prosecuted with a like a carer? Like he was properly. I have to be really careful I don't accidentally drop the R slur here. But I think we all know what I'm getting at. I'm pretty sure he wasn't fully there. Anyway, sorry, let's get back to the quote, shall we? In the Overton assault course, who said we believe in opportunity for all? We do not believe people are born to rule. Stop the Greed says Jeremy Corbyn. Yuri says probably Priti Patel. Previous suggestion was King Charles. Okay, but probably Priti Patel. Who else have we got? We got any other suggestions here? Kevin McEverly says Bono. I'm gonna tell you now. Are you ready? We believe in opportunity for all. We do not believe that people are born to rule. Do you know who said it, guys? Fucking Liz Truss. Liz Truss said that. Can you believe that shit? That is what Liz Truss said. She actually, like, the full quote, I didn't want to like give it away before. The full quote was actually, we Liberal Democrats believe in opportunity for all. We do not believe people are born to rule, which she said at the 1994 Liberal Democrat Conference, with specific regards to abolishing the monarchy. Truss would, of course, go on to be the country's most successful sleeper agent for the Lib Dems by both handing over swathes of seats to the Liberal Democrats, but not before killing the Queen. This is fun, isn't it? Should we keep going? I got a couple more I can pull out. This is all right. Let's see what other quotes we've got here in our Overton assault course.
It's the Overton assault course, yeah, yeah. It's the Overton assault course, yeah, yeah. It's the...
That leaps right or leaps left. There's a red tyre on the left, blue tyre on the right. And then we must guess, like, does it sound left? Does it sound right wing? And then I wonder who it might be then that said that. So here we go. Next quote. Are we ready? People in the live chat joining me on a Friday night. Here's the next quote. Our people must not find themselves made strangers in their own country. Who do we think said that? Our people must not find themselves made strangers in their own country. So first you have to ask yourself the question, does that sound left-wing? Or does that sound right-wing? And then that should be able to inform you as to who you think might have said that. Our people must not find themselves made strangers in their own country. Let's go to the live chat. Let's see who is guessing what. Super Tansky says that's Enoch Powell. Okay. Mojo Sabian says Enoch Powell. Stop the Greed says Keir Starmer. Steve Martin says Keir Starmer. Richard Grumpy Git says Enoch Powell. SG. I've not seen SG in the chat before, but hello, SG. The old Enoch as opposed to the bad Enoch. Little play on words there. Bit of Kemi, bad Enoch, right. Ernie Burns says Keir Starmer. Peter Del Monte. What's up, Peter? He's gone for a curveball. He says Matt Hancock. No, that was, in fact, Enoch Powell said that. So Super Tan, Mojo Sabian, straight out the gate there, getting that right. And it came from his much derided, it came from Enoch Powell's much derided, not Mojo Sabian's much derided speech. I've never heard Mojo Sabian give a speech, but he's very welcome to do so. It was Enoch Powell in his much derided and very racist 1968 Rivers of Blood speech. He said, in the future, our people may find themselves made strangers in their own country, which obviously bears quite clear similarities to Keir Starmer's line this week, where he said Britain risked becoming an island of strangers, didn't he? So, island of strangers. And strangers in their own country. They kind of sit in a similar space, don't they? I think on the Overton window. And I suppose, possibly quite awkwardly, I probably could have also accepted Joseph Goebbels. Fucking guys. I could have also accepted Joseph Goebbels, who said the German people must not become a minority in their own Reich. He said that. I mean, everyone's on about like, oh, it's a bit fucking Enoch, isn't it? I'm like, it's a bit fucking, it's not un-Goebbels, is it? It's a bit Goebbels, lads. Let's do a couple more. I got time for another couple. Right, so let's do next quote. Think to yourself, does it sound left-wing or right-wing? And then who do I think might have said it? Who said this? Next quote. Our migrant communities are a fundamental part of who we are. And Britain is a far richer and stronger society because of them. Who do we think said that? People in the chat. Do we think that sounds left or right? Is it left-wing? Is it far right? Where does it sit for you in the Overton window? I think it sounds quite left, doesn't it? Quite Labour left, maybe. It's pro-migrant. We're a richer and stronger society because of migrant communities. But I'll give you a clue, a little add-on. quote, if you like. The person who said that, which I'll just read to you again, our migrant communities are a fundamental part of who we are, and Britain is far richer and stronger society because of them. The person who said that also said the economies in Europe that will prosper are those that are the greenest. Who do we think said those two things? So migrant communities are why we're so strong, but also the economies in Europe that will prosper will be those that are the greenest. Who do we think said that, guys? Let's see. Who's in the chat? Who's got some guesses? Sarah Davies says Corbyn. Brian White says Cameron. Richard Grumpy Git says Farage. I don't know if Farage is going to be cheering on the green economies of Europe. That's like his fucking double kryptonite, isn't it? Europe and environmentalism? Oh my God. Breaking out in hives and herps at that shit. Yuri says the many right-wing musings of Keir Starmer. It doesn't sound very right-wing to me. Sounds a bit left. Stop the Greed says Ed Miliband. Hiddenite says Boris Johnson. Final answer. No save answer for this one. Okay. Final and last guess from Jim Speak. Is it Brian Badonde? I'll just read the quotes to you again very quickly, and then I'm going to tell you. First one, our migrant communities are a fundamental part of who we are, and Britain is a far richer and stronger society because of them. And the economies in Europe that will prosper are those that are the greenest. Guess who fucking said it? Are we ready? David Cameron! David Cameron, guys, said those things. That old lily-livered socialist and lover of fine swines is our Dave. That's how far we've moved, man. Is an old Etonian, a plum-gargling, plate-faced tosser like David Cameron is now. Just by the sounds of what he said and the things that he supported, now he would come across as a raging lefty. Like, what the fuck? How far have we come? Okay, last one. We'll do one more before we wrap up, before we wind it down for the lock-in, guys. Because, of course, it's Friday night, so we do the 8:30 to just after 9 o'clock lock-in. After we wrap up the podcast proper. We do last one. Last quote in our Overton assault course tonight. This has been fun, by the way. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. I just caught Richard Grumpy Gets comment there. No party like a pig effing party. Yeah, okay, right. So, last quote. Let's do it. Are we ready, peeps? The Overton assault course. So, does it sound left? Does it sound right? And on the basis of whether it's left or right, who do we think might have said it? So here is the quote. Who said this? It is important, if we mean what we say about our values and about standing together, that we do not diminish our stand on refugees or human rights. The biggest problem with asylum seekers' claims is that it takes a long time for the Home Office to process them. That's the problem, and it's been there for years. Get that sorted instead of lurching from one ridiculous proposition to another. Who do we think... Sorry, it's quite a long quote there. Who do we think said that? People in the live chat. Who do we think said that shit? I'll read it to you again, shall I? We'll do it one more time. Who do we think said, it is important that if we mean what we say about our values and about standing together, that we do not diminish our stand on refugees or human rights. The biggest problem with asylum seekers' claims is that it takes a long time for the Home Office to process them. That's the problem, and it's been there for years. Get that sorted instead of lurching from one ridiculous proposition to another. Who do we think said that shit? So Hiddenite says 2 Piers Keir. And save answer is Kemi Badenoch. Jesus H. Christ has joined us in the chat. He's been resurrected. He's come back, finally. Finally, he is saved. He has come back, and he's here tonight. Jesus H. Christ says Predator Badenoch. Kevin McEverly says the pig. The pig said that. David Camp, Dave's pig, has contributed to the debate on asylum. Mojo Sabian says Neil Kinnock. Okay. It's not outrageous to suggest that maybe Kinnock might have weighed in on asylum. Super Tan says Keir Starmer. Richard Grumpy Git says Keir Starmer. Sarah Davies says Sunak. One Sock Wanderer comes out with, straight out of left field here, with one of the best suggestions tonight for one of these quotes. Ken Dodd. No, it was indeed. Have I got a picture here? I don't know if I prepared one. Doesn't look like I have. But yes, it was indeed Keir fucking Starmer, guys. Keir, we want an immigration system based on compassion and dignity. Starmer said that. It was Keir Starmer who said it's important, if we mean what we say about our values, that we do not diminish our stand on refugees and human rights, and to stop lurching from one ridiculous proposition to another. Keir Starmer said that. But my, oh my, you've come a long way, baby, haven't you? He's fallen so fast, so fast. I mean, it'll only be 10 years max until his career's in tatters, just like Gerard Depardeiu. Right, that's it, guys. That's it for this one. We're going to break it down for the lock-in now. So if you want to stay on for that, we'll do a little bit of Q&A, a cheeky bit of freestyle chattery with yours truly. But if you have to run, if you're watching this now like live and you want to wind it up and go and have some food and watch TV or whatever, or if you're listening later on the catch-up or on Spotify or Apple, then maybe try and stop by next week for the live show, 7:30 to 8:30. And if you're not subscribed, if you are watching this now, do consider subscribing, because did you know that 80% of the people that watch these videos are not actually subscribed? So I'm a bit like, just fucking sub already. Help the channel to grow, guys. Anyway, of course, if you do have to run now or you're listening later, I will catch up with all of you next week for another midweek show and the paper reviews, and indeed next Friday night's live show. And I will see a lot of you in person on Saturday, the 7th of June for the Patreon meetup. That's in London. So if you're not registered on the Patreon yet, or you haven't joined, you can join the channel on YouTube. Now is the time to do that, so you can come along also, meet me, have a few drinks, we'll take some photos, put the world to rights over its many, many wrongs, and have a good time. But yes, that's it for the podcast proper. Let's wind it down into the lock-in. Until next time, guys, keep it booge. Keep it influencer. And we are out this motherfucker. Ja. Right, where's the lock-in? Here we go.